I don't know that we can solve the LCBO in this chat.
Yeah, no, it's a big one. It's a, as my 3-year-old daughter would say, it's a big guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Should we pour something?
I think so. We can continue talking while we're pouring something. What's our first one?
Well, let Andrea pick.
You know what? One of my favorites is I'm just a sucker for Canadian oak. Cooper's Rye.
The Cooper's Rat. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, I am such. You know what it is I don't get a lot of products with Canadian oak, and it's rare. But there's a very distinct bright vanilla flavor to it that I think is really cool. And like we talk about earlier, like what is Canadian whiskey and all that kind of stuff. Like this is one of the stuff that makes it cool. Like you can't make this stuff anywhere else.
Hey, Kevin, you want to do the big spiel about how we got these bottles?
Sure, yeah, I'll do that. But first of all, while I'm pouring this, I want to do an ode to tabletop tastings. Hopefully that came across on the mic.
Nope, not at all.
Okay, so that was not a good bottle pop.
Well, you can just add it in later. Right? We got the videos of Steve, so
I'll do the Steve. Oh yeah. Wow.
I think you got to do it farther away.
Oh, farther away, right? I'm too close.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So, yeah, the story about how I got these bottles is I was at Spirit of Toronto with Don from Last Straw, and the end of the night comes up, and I've met Quinn and Cooper and John before at Whiskey Wonderland, and they actually were a couple booths down from us. So the whole night, we're sort of going backwards and forwards, talking occasionally when we get the chance. But the end of the night comes, and they have a long drive back, and Cooper wants to get back to his family, and they've got a lot of stuff that they're carrying. And so I went over and said, can I help you? Let me help you carry some stuff. And he initially said, yes, I'll give you a bottle. Don't worry about it. Just take the bottle. And I was like, you know what? I don't need a bottle. I'm not looking for a handout. I'm happy to just help. And then, I sort of said, it occurred to me that, what am I saying? I do run the London Area Whiskey Society, and we do have Unpoured Perspectives. Of course I want a bottle. So I sort of said that, I do run the London's Whiskey Society, and we are on Unpoured Perspectives. And he was like, oh, okay, well, so here's a box, and he gave me like every single one. And I said, okay, great, that thank you so much, but can I still help you carry things out? And he's like, no, it's okay, you're doing everything you can just by taking those off my hands. So awesome. Thank you to Cooper.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. And actually, it's funny because you mentioned earlier there's not a lot of places where you can go and have a cocktail and have that really authentic distillery experience. Has anyone here been to Springmill?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I
have been, yeah. So I do have a story about that too. So one of the things that I was, when I was starting my business was, and I still do this, in the summer, I go and visit distilleries, local Ontario distilleries. My goal is to visit every single Ontario distillery. And I emailed Springmill and was like, I want to come by, I want to talk to someone, maybe do an interview. I'm an independent bottler. This is what I'm trying to do. And I got their marketing department, and they sort of replied with, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. We're a grain to glass distillery. We don't need your help bottling. I was like, oh, that's not what I'm saying at all. And I tried to go. I pushed a little bit more, and I said, oh, that's not what I'm doing. I'm coming anyways. And I got there, and the marketing lady that I was emailing with sent someone else down to come and talk to me. I spoke to Cooper about this, and he said he apologized, and it was probably his fault because he gets a lot of emails from people that aren't just that are just trying to get free bottles or whatever.
Yeah.
But
does
Cooper and Quinn, both very nice guys. John, so awesome to talk to. He always has a story. And Cooper invited us down, and we'll probably go down and do an interview and talk to him this summer. So I'm so happy that I've met them, and they're great guys, and that we're going to go down and do a thing.
So what
And
you're saying
their
is
whiskey's great.
your long con actually worked then, eh? You got 3 bottles, got your interview. It's a classic Kevin Dondi.
And a
So-
story to boot.
So let's since we have somebody who's whiskey person on, I want to know what you get out of this.
Yeah. Because I'm not a whiskey person.
Other whiskey person.
I don't even have this bottle, guys.
Sorry, I was supposed to come to Hamilton this weekend, and our plans got canceled. So you're saying you're still here.
You got to wipe off your camera now. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Are you? Because that was a pretty bad laugh. So anyways, I got to go back to, if you have not been to Springmill, you need to go, because their stills are incredibly impressive. Their setup is incredibly impressive. You walk in there, and yes, I'm a fan of Guelph because I went to the University of Guelph, but it's like transform you to the Highlands. It's as close as you're ever going to get to Scotland being in Canada. I've never been to a distillery that makes you feel like you're just like exiting Canada and you're entering a whole new world. I don't know if you agree with me, Kevin, but even their cocktail bar is meant to be that way.
Joel, we gotta go.
You gotta go.
I definitely I've been to the cocktail bar. The cocktail bar is awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the stills. When I went, they weren't there, but we're gonna go and we'll get the whole tour.
Did you guys get the story on the washbacks?
I did not.
Okay. There's your little bit of Canadiana history homework. Okay, I'm not going to give you the story. It's a cool story.
But we're not going to tell it. We're going to tell it now. Come on.
There's got to be some little intrigue. Maybe we'll leave it as a cliffhanger, and we'll talk about it next time.
Bonus material.
I feel like I can guess, knowing where, but now I have to do my research to figure out whether I'm right or not.
So I like the nose on this, but there is, I think it's the clove I get that I'm not overly fond of on the nose. There is a unique spice to it. On the palate, I do get the chocolates, a little bit of the cherries.
You know what I'm getting? This is going to sound really funny. Do you remember getting, as a kid, butterscotch sundaes from McDonald's with nuts on it?
Sounds like it smells delicious.
Yeah.
I don't know, I get on the nose, I get citrusy, clove, a little bit bitter notes. I don't really get. Sorry, Joel. We're just completely ignoring you that you don't have any. You said you got vanilla. I don't get vanilla on this. For me personally, I don't get vanilla.
I think it's a very specific type of vanilla that you only get from Canadian oak, and I can't. It's not like American oak. It's not that overly sweet. It's a really bright vanilla.
So I get coffee.
That's because you had coffee earlier.
Maybe.
So I don't know. Did you try them all?
I did.
So I actually really liked the first time through. I thought the traditional was good, but the second time through, I thought it was really good. I just wish it was 50%, because I think it would be fantastic at 50. This at 48 is definitely way better than the regular rye.
If you were to, here's my question for you. If you were to taste this in a blind tasting, what would you put this as?
I wouldn't pick rye because I don't think it tastes like a rye.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
Cooper's rye. I don't think it tastes like a rye.
I think I would put it as a rye. To me, there is a little bit of a spicy profile.
Oh yeah, there's definitely you get from the 40% to this one, you definitely get the kick. But I just think that's the oak content. I don't think it's the 8% ABV.
I think another interesting fact about the Cooper's rye that has got nothing to do with the washbacks because that we're gonna leave that. But an interesting fact about this particular whiskey is that Quinn, the one son, went to Scotland to learn how to be a cooper. So he is an actual cooper. They have one of the only cooperages in Canada, and he does actually make barrels. And the rye that is in this, I don't think this is 100% rye, but the rye that is in this was aged in Cooper's barrels, made locally. And so that is super cool.
It's I think this is 100% rye.
It is. It's very rye on the palate. It's a very like you get that.
I think I just
spice.
get so many of those. Like, and I don't know because I don't know if I've ever had anything in Canadian oak before, but I definitely get like that clove, like the leathery kind of notes that you get to it. So I don't know if it's just something that like it's good, but I think I don't. It's good. I don't know if it's for me. It's just that I don't like clove, and I get a lot of clove.
And that could be the barrel. I think for me, having worked in wine, like you stick your nose in a lot of those barrels, and after a while, you get to kind of know.
Yeah.
And I think for me, maybe it's comforting, and I do like clove as well. But again, it's that bright vanilla that sticks right out.
It's okay, Andrea. Nobody agrees with Bobby's take.
True.
It's tradition.
Yeah, I don't, oh, man.
So
Find out
I
something
think
else
just
that you
reading the
have.
label, it does say made from Canadian rye grain and matured in Canadian oak barrels. So assumedly that is 100% rye. Why don't we move to
Joel,
the one
Joel, you
that,
have the single
that
malt.
Joel
Right?
has?
Joel has the single malt. We,
Have the single malt, yeah.
which I haven't
okay.
tried. I haven't tried yet, so
It's very pleasant.
Is it the sherry finished single malt or
no,
just the single malt?
the regular one.
I really like the single malt actually. In all honesty, when I was tasting
Wow.
through these, it was a really cool journey.
It smells like it's very citrusy. Kind of smells like stuff I had when I was in Sweden.
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just gonna say it feels like a very authentic journey when you go from the single malt whiskey to the sherry finished single malt. Like you could almost feel them evolve in a style, and you can by the end of it you can almost feel like you understood what the brand of a Springmill was, which I kind of appreciated. There was some continuity between all of them. You don't see that in stories.
I'm gonna go for the bottle pop now. Joel, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
So it's got like a very vibrant, like creamy, like cream, vanilla, citrusy.
Creamed corn.
I've been
Got like a
closing
nice
this
spice.
all night. Like this is the only thing I've had all night.
It's got a nice spice for 40%. Like I don't think I'd guess 40. I'd probably say like 45, 46%. Like it drinks to me compared to the 40% rye and the 40% straight whiskey. This drinks above the ABV, which I like.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's got like almost like a raw like sugar cookie dough.
Have
Like
you
a
ever-
little orange and like lemon.
Have you ever smelled a color? Because to me, way at the end, I smell purple.
Oh.
I
do
would say more
not
yellow.
know what purple smells like.
Yeah, you'll know. Oh man, I'm gonna give you something that's like pure Barney.
I smell straw color.
Yeah, I would say yellow.
But it's way at the end. Yeah, you get all those straw, grainy kind of things, but way at the end when you're nosing it, I just
I
got
kind of it's a bit almost like I'm associated more with floral. Like it's like just like that
lilac or
purple flowers. Yeah.
I'm even like
So
maybe even a touch of plum kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, like white plum.
what I really like about this is there's something. So a lot of Canadian whiskey right now, including, and I'm including the craft space. A lot of Canadian whiskey is very barrel influenced.
Yeah.
Right, they're trying to bring a lot of flavor. They're trying to bring active wood, and a lot of that is because you're aging for 3 and 4 and 5 years. You're not intending to age for 12, 15 years, and with all of the young distilleries, that's not really an option. But this tastes like a spirit forward scotch, right? It tastes like it was put into something that was inactive or was, used 3 or 4 times and just let sit, and you're tasting the spirit more so than this very active wood.
Yeah, it reminds me when I was in Sweden that like High Coast, some of their like younger stuff is very like you would never guess it's that young when you try it, and you're like, oh wow, that's like it drinks much older than it is.
Yeah, it
It'd be
definitely
interesting to see
lingers.
where they are in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely agree with what you just said, Kevin. And to me, that brings me back to what I was saying about the authenticity behind it. Is I feel like so much Canadian whiskey is like, we're gonna do all these gimmicks and we're gonna put so much oak and we're gonna do this and this and this. Versus this one was like, we're just gonna put it in oak and we're gonna let it take its own journey. We're gonna see where it goes. And it's funny that you make the Scotch comment, because that's the reason why I was asking, if you were to taste it in blind testing, what would you say? And a lot of these I would not nail as necessarily as Canadian. It doesn't mean I would say that they are not Canadian, but they don't smack me in the face as Canadian sometimes.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
Well,
Like, Canadian
so-
stuff where you open, you're like, I'm not gonna like this because it's too Canadian.
Well, but I think that this is the direction that Canadian whiskey almost should be going in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the first time I've had it. I'm
It's
curious.
lovely.
Very-
It's complex.
So-
It's citrusy.
Yeah.
It's got florals to it.
Yeah, there's like that odd raw dough note that I like.
And I think that I don't know if this maybe goes back into some previous conversations, and maybe I'm digging up old, I don't know, flower beds. I don't know what the saying is. I'm mixing my metaphors, but like, so for me, Canadian whiskey, at least in the craft space, right? Obviously, there's the very large players, and I think they have a very distinctive profile. And you taste Canadian whiskey, and you know what that is. Your Crowns, your Wisers, your Lot 40s. But for me, craft whiskey right now doesn't really have like a defining category, a defining flavor, a defining profile. Everything is different, right? Like you've got your Ryes and your Sons of Vancouver. And to me, Sons of Vancouver tastes a lot like Bruichladdich because there's that strong lactic note that really comes through. And you've got your two brewers that could be like just about any Scotch, right?
Yeah.
It could be any Highland Scotch. And then there's players that are doing like really good traditional, maybe not traditional rye for Canada, but really good, solid, traditional rye, quintessential rye. Like it's just all over the map. We don't really have one definition. And I really like that. I realize it also causes like problems because when you're trying to talk about Canadian whiskey and define it and label it, it makes it very difficult and awkward. But I kind of want to be comfortable in that awkwardness.
Maybe that's the point of Canadian whiskey, right? We're a melding pot of societies. We're a melding pot of different flavors and different backgrounds, and maybe it defies definition.
It's crazy too when you see each province's outcome of spirits compared to, like, for me, Ontario has some decent stuff, but I find like the West Coast is where it's at. I think as you go from BC and you start working your way, things kind of take a lull and then they, kind of go up a little bit more. Like there's like, it's interesting to see. And I don't know if that's like it's obviously comes down to like, it's all the, the base product, where people are getting their barrels, how much they care about stuff, how much work they're putting into it. But I just feel like it's funny where, in my opinion, like the top distilleries in Canada are all, Yukon, BC, filtering into Alberta a little bit. And then you have like Ontario where it's mostly mass produced stuff, but then like you have some, Paradigm, which is just taking stuff from somebody else, but it's a better version of it, in my opinion. Gretzky, they're doing some interesting things. North of Seven has some interesting bottles that nobody knows who they are. Like there's some interesting stuff going on in Ontario that nobody talks about, but it's just funny how we're all over the place, which is fun, but it'd be interesting to see more, people talk about it.
I think it's this combination of we've got such a big country, right? So it's hard to establish a style, but then simultaneously we've got this really cool ability. And the way I look at it is we can paint with as many different colors as we want, right? Like I'm getting very Pocahontas-y. You can paint with all the colors of the wind, because there's such few.
Man,
Such
we need to get a soundboard, Kevin.
yeah.
I mean, our mics came with a bit of a soundboard. We can play around here for sure.
You get like a digital soundboard.
I could play a wind sound.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. It's and Davin's the funniest with this stuff because he's always like, and he's right about this, is Canada actually has much more strict regulation when it comes to whiskey terms than in the US. And most people don't realize it. It's just that the US has like all these these strict definitions simultaneously.
Yeah.
And so Canadian whiskey general terms are much more strict. But the individual terms are not. And so there's this people.
And there's so many more here.
There's so many more options here to do whatever you want. It's just the lack of transparency that is the issue, because you can add tequila to your whiskey, right? Is that interesting? Is that gimmicky? Like, where are we going with this? And I think one of the things
Where you can add tequila to your whiskey here?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's not tequila though. It would be like agave spirit.
If it's aged,
Well,
tequila, you can only call tequila when it's in Mexico though. So here it would be like an agave wine or an agave.
If it's aged for 2 years, you can add it.
I think what Bobby's saying is,
tequila, though.
I think what Bobby's saying is, does it have to be bottled before it leaves Mexico?
Oh, I don't know about bottling.
No, like there's agave in Canada now, but you can't call it tequila.
Yeah, but you
right, but yes. So if you can import a tequila barrel that's 3 years old, then
Well, you get totes. I don't think they'll actually send you a barrel here, but
whatever.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, there's interesting, but I didn't know.
Stop being so difficult, Bobby.
Kevin is translating for me.
Who's sticking tequila in their whiskey? I'd be curious to try that.
I'm not going to start going down that road because I feel like I'm starting.
Or is it like coming out, or?
If I remember correctly, I think it's already been done, but I'm going to double check on that because I'm pretty sure somebody did that a while back.
I'd be curious to try that.
I don't see a problem with it as long.
So was mezcal. Somebody did mezcal.
To me, as long as you're putting it on the label, and that's just simply a me thing, right? As long as you're putting it on the label, I don't see a problem with it.
Kevin puts everything on the label. It's great.
I try.
I think it's fantastic, and it's interesting because everybody always goes, "Oh, well, Scotch has an identity." Right? Everybody knows what Scotch is. And I don't actually personally believe that Scotland as a whole has an identity with whiskey because there's so many different regions and each of those regions specialize in different things. And like Islay, we all know what Islay is. But apart from that, like there's so many beautiful distilleries in multiple places. It overlaps all the time.
And there's and all of Scotland with all of its regions, I think probably fits into Ontario 3 times.
Yeah, that's very true. I feel like Canadians need to focus more on the fact that we are blenders and we have this unique ability to create our distillates separately and blend at the end and make the best product possible. Whereas
there are people here not doing that though.
Oh, I know. There's tons of them. In fact, most of them are not. Like, let's be honest. But we still have that ability. And that's where, historically, that's what we were doing. And that's the reason why we have that 5% rye, 95% corn, or whatever it is, right? Like, we are blenders.
Yeah.
That's what I think we should be embracing. That's what I think Canadian whiskeys should be. And I'm going down to ADI, and I'm actually talking about this at the American Distilling Institute conference in August.
Cool.
Because I just don't think that, I feel like now everybody is starting to copy us as Canadians. Which is really interesting because, historically, the US would always use mash bills and then be like, okay, we're going to do everything from the very beginning. And now suddenly the Americans have woken up to realize that you can actually make a really cool product if you're blending at the end.
So is like a blend bill ever come up in a conversation?
A blend bill, like the idea of regulating that?
I don't say regulate it, but it would be interesting because I know like Tim at Gretzky, they do blending, right? Like it's all blended. They can be like, because it's easy to measure, right? I'm going to take this much of this and I'm going to take this much of this. We're going to put it together and there's our red cask, right? Like, but I
Done.
mean, like you have all these gimmicky people like, was it Broken Barrel will do they on their bottling, they'll do the label, they'll do it of they don't only give you the mash bill, but they give you the barrel types that were used
I
in
guess.
because they do different barrel types in one barrel, right? Like a blend bill would be like, I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but that'd be kind of a cool thing to know.
I love it.
No
That's
better name.
I love it. Like that's the whole thing is like I'm trying to push forward and be like Canadians, we are blenders, right? Like,
Yeah,
people don't really put that at the forefront when they think about Canadians all the time.
that's true. I never thought about how much like blending's actually done here. That's a good point. Like it's interesting to, yeah, because like Wiser's does that. Lot 40 does interesting things. Like, oh, you're a Dr. Don fan too, right? So it's
Well, think about it. He's a master blender. He's not a
yeah.
master distiller. He's
He's
a
a well, he's a world master blender now,
Yeah.
right? So
So as you guys just mentioned, Dr. Don is actually my mentor through the Our Whiskey Foundation, and he's been absolutely incredible, just in terms of guidance, because I feel like in this industry it's really easy to get lost, and you can have ideas, and there's a lot of bad ideas, and you go down a lot of wrong turns, and you think you know something, and you have no idea, and he's been really good at guiding me, and he's got a lot of experience under his belt too. So
you have
it's,
like a team thing with you going, like where you have certain people that are trying to help you.
I do. So I've put together a board to try and get the idea of these certification marks, and putting together something like a distillers association across Canada. It's the biggest thing is that everybody loves, like a lot of people love the idea and a lot of distilleries are in. It's just nobody has the time and energy. And if there's anyone out there who is willing to go down this road, like I just need more. Yes, Kevin, if you,
That's the wrong arm. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
I made a mistake there. Sorry.
I'm just like I'm looking. I believe that people are out there who believe in this cause. I seem to be like the only, like I have a whole roadmap already done on how to turn the Canadian whiskey industry around on a dime. Like it doesn't need. The thing is that there's not a lot of money. I've done the research myself.
Do you think because it's like no, and not to say what you're doing is simple, but it's like
It
it's
is
just
simple.
simple. But do you think because they think it's that simple that it's like is it so easy? It's so difficult. Like I don't like you know what I mean, right? Like
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I think it's just more so they don't have the time to care, and I don't have the time to go door to door and get people to care.
okay, Kevin, road trip.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, to put together an Ontario whiskey trail. I just haven't had the time.
Let's do it.
But I think
Because I know you
for
got something
me,
like that too, right, Andrea? That you're trying to do like because I know you're in Kentucky a lot, and you have like they have the Bourbon Trail, and I
Yeah.
think Kevin was talking about it. You were talking about like some sort of trail-ish Canadian. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like across Canada or just Ontario.
So I've got a lot of ideas on how to make this work, which I'm happy to, chat with you. But ultimately, it was really interesting. Somebody was briefly talking about this earlier. It's like we've got a lot of history. Well, nobody cares about the history because we don't have the education. No one cares about the education because we don't have the facilities. Nobody cares about the facilities because we don't have a destination. So it's like it's all kind of interconnected and how these things work together. And we have to start turning Canada
Yeah, connect the dots.
into a destination for whiskey.
Yeah.
So this has really been like, I know how to do it for the right price. I have the right stuff. I'm working full time. I've got 2 young daughters. I'm doing my doctorate. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are super on board with it. It's just, I don't have the energy to do that all together. So it's
I also work full time, and I don't know that I have a ton of energy, but I am interested in getting involved and actually putting in the work. I think that if you don't, I'm trying to build a brand, and part of me building my brand is helping out, right? And I think that's where I need to start,
Yeah.
or one of the places that I need to start.
You got
It's
SOS on your side here too, so I think we're one of the biggest whiskey groups in Canada, getting close at least.
We can crowdsource some help.
And
yeah.
we have like good depth. Like we have a lot of people like Tim's in our group, Irma's in our group, Jenna and James are in the group. Like we got Chris from Hanson's in the group. There's like we have a variety of people like right across the country. We have some small Matthew at Carroll's and on the East Coast. We got a bunch of and that guy like you want to talk about nerdy? That guy's nerdy. He will make you fall asleep. He's got like that guy knows stuff I didn't even know existed. Like that guy's super nerdy. Like it's interesting, just like the depth of, and he's like a super young guy too. It's weird. Like I think he just like grew up in a book. Um, it's fun. Like and it's interesting because like knowing Tim, we've got a chance to go do some private tours at go to Grimsby and see the warehouse, and then go to the you'll see Tim in his element, and I've been to Paradigm, and like it's a beautiful place. Like it's super cool and they're passionate about it. It's fun to see people that are passionate about their job, but they're also whiskey people and not just like I own this place, I make
Oh
whiskey.
yeah.
Like there's a huge difference because there are some of those people that exist where it's like, hey, I own a distillery, but they don't give a crap about whiskey. Where there's people in our group and our like that definitely do, and you can see it in what they're making, which is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
kind of cool.
I believe that the people are out there. It's just maybe you guys have one of the only networks that really come together and talk about this kind of stuff, because I think one of the things I struggle the most is that it's a very segregated industry unless you have outlets like this, right? Like I don't have
I
any.
like to be connected. I like to try to connect the people with the people that are making the whiskey because then you get like, especially when we do all our events that we do, you can see like we've done stuff with Dranmore, for instance. It's an independent bottler, Scotch and rum, and he lives in Scotland. And we've like, okay, like we'll try to make timing available so it's normal time. He's like, no, whatever. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, woman, get me a beer. And he's like having a beer, and he's at home, and he's on his couch, and like you can just it's just coming through the screen. He's so
Oh, I
excited
love
to
it.
talk about whiskey, and you're like, this is who you want to be with, right? Like
Yeah.
with like the people like we did a tequila thing, and the guy, it was more of a history and education than an actual tasting because this guy's just going through like the history and the family, and I like it's just they don't, and the fact that they don't use any bourbon barrels for their tequila just blew my mind. Like they only use French oak, so it's like I'm like, well, this is why their tequila tastes a certain way, and we asked why, and he told us why they don't want to use like it's crazy to learn when you get people that are passionate about and they sit down and they want to talk to you, and like 2 hours go by and you're like, we want more.
Yeah. I love
So it's crazy because I mean it's not crazy. It is what it is, right? Like everybody knows it. Whiskey is about sense memory,
that.
right? So it's tied to stories, and I think that's what Scotland and other places like Ireland do so well is they tell those stories, and that's the part that you're saying we're missing. Um, in
We don't have,
relation to sense memory,
yeah.
right? Everybody knows that my first whiskey release is a very weird and unique whiskey release. I have had like the complete rainbow of tasting notes on this whiskey. Like there must be 40 different tasting notes that I've had. And it's very weird to have the whiskey in front of two people and have them give the same tasting notes. The point that I'm getting to is that as far as sense memory, at Spirit of Toronto, I had this whiskey out, and I said to the guy, or I said to two guys, this will be the most unique thing you taste tonight. And the one guy puts it up to his nose and he goes, hockey bag.
Yeah. I love it.
And he, the other guy looked at him and like, why are you insulting this guy's whiskey? And he was honestly just trying to like connect with it because that was a fond memory for him, right?
Yeah.
He actually really enjoyed the smell and the memory of it, and he said he actually really enjoyed the whiskey. So it's a really cool thing.
But I also think that's part of it is like when you go somewhere, one of my favorite things to do, as I'm sure we all do now, is you buy a bottle because it turns to me into a liquid memory, right?
Yes.
Like that, but oh, I bought that bottle when I was here, and then afterwards, when you want to go back and be like, oh, I remember this, and we don't have that here in Canada. we don't have a visitor center for our whiskey. We don't have, like, you go down to Louisville, you go down to Lexington, and like you guys just said, like I go down there every so often. I just actually won a scholarship to attend Symposium, which is run by Bourbon Women. And there's so much that I just want to learn from what they're doing down there and implement it up here, because there's a game plan already done for us. It's just we got to figure out how to translate into our own terms and help more people develop that memory and that connection and be like, yeah, I want to go to Canada and try some Canadian whiskey. Like, I've never heard anyone say that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I can't say that we did a Two Brewers event. I think I'm trying to plan some other stuff down the road, but it's true. It's hard, like, because it's like everything we do almost seems like a one-off of something, and then like we do one main release, and then whatever. It's hard. It's like not many lineups have like a consistent core range of something. Where I think like Sleeman's has got something going on. Gretzky, like you said, Gretzky's got some interesting things where they have certain stuff, but I mean, it varies obviously by a lot, certain things they do. Like it's interesting to see how it's hard to pick something.
Well, I will say that Reese Sims, I'm sure you guys, she's part of your group. We all know and love Reese. She started Canadian Whiskey Week last year, and that was a great initiative, right? Like, so simple.
You got my favorite camp book.
There you go. There you go. Like, such a great initiative. Like you said, like, it doesn't have to be complicated. And everybody was just sharing their favorite Canadian whiskey. Oh, there you go. There's Flavor Camp right there. So I think this year I'm going to be co-chairing it with her and doing some events here at the college just to celebrate Canadian whiskey.
She gonna come out?
I am trying to get her. You tell Reese she's
okay. I'm gonna message her right now. Like, you gotta come to Ontario. Yeah, because it'd be fun to come out and meet her.
I don't know if I'm trying to get her to host at least a flavor camp out this way. That's what
I mean, she's moving closer. She's in Calgary now, right?
Yeah. Bother her. Tell her I told you to. Because I think more people want to learn from her. I think she's an amazing resource. I think she's incredibly knowledgeable. I think she's so creative, and her love for spirits is so clear.
Told her
I love all those graphs, not graphs, those like infographics that she makes.
Yeah, she spends
They're
a lot
so clear, clean,
time,
concise. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She sent us I got like one of her like weird blind kits, which I moved and I don't know what I did.
Have you not done that yet?
No, because I moved and then I don't know, and then I was supposed to do it with the tabletop guys, and then they went and did it, and then whatever. But
I did it. I got 2 out of 8.
I told her she needs to do one for like the whiskey nerds that are like, it's not not just random people off the street thing. So she needs to do like one for like us. So it would be a good time maybe to do one with you. We could come tonight. She can do one in Ontario.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her out here to host one.
Yeah, I'm gonna bug her.
Yeah, but
do a Canadian one though when she comes here though.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If she can come down to Niagara, do a Canadian whiskey one. I think
lots of stuff in the area. So
yeah, I think that would be killer to do just Niagara, right? Like, there's enough stuff going around.
40 Creek, you got Dillon's, you got Gretzky.
Yeah,
Hamilton. I've never. Have you tried any of the? Isn't there a Hamilton distillery something? Have they actually?
I've reached out to them a couple of times.
Yes, me too. They're like just don't exist or don't know how to use social media.
Their office is on Bay Street, downtown Hamilton. So I'm not sure exactly how that works because there's no way that they have a distillery in a high-rise building.
No, maybe they're virtual contractors or whatever.
Virtual distilleries.
Yeah.
Stupid thing.
Maybe. Well, I mean, you have Joshua Beach is out of Niagara too, right? He does some interesting stuff. So he's not technically in Niagara anymore, right? So he's outside of outside of Creemore now, I think, right? Or something.
I could be wrong, but I thought he was at Spirit in Niagara, which
I think like there isn't like where he works out of or lives or something is out that. I don't know where it is. But yeah, there's a lot of Ontario local area stuff you could do. So
which is why we need to put together a trail.
Yeah.
So people can.
It's surprising. Like even like I'm close, so I go bugged on at Last Straw all the time. Like I got potentially doing a pick and what is it? Stillwaters is in Vaughan. Well, there's a bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, even like you think of Collingwood and what comes out of Collingwood, no one knows. Like, I don't think anybody really knows how much stuff comes out of.
No,
Or
and I think that's it, is that
not that
it's
it's
not it's not that difficult to put the trail together. And
no.
there's so many different regions that if you started do like
Like
I
you
can
do
think
they I just picked up the LCBO, the whatever the book they have, and they have like the Niagara or all the VQA wine thing, and it's like page by page, little dot, check, and then now they've added where you can like add a check mark to all the places you've gone to. I mean, they have beer ones of exactly the same thing with all the breweries. There's way more breweries than distilleries,
but the whole thing is that they have these organizations that do this and put this together,
and it's
right?
mind blowing that there's nothing for Canadian whiskey.
But
They've
part of it
got
is that they don't have the money.
they've
But
got
it's such a
membership fees that are paid.
Yeah,
to
it's
do these things.
there's a lot to it, but that's the reason why it's taken me so long to figure out the business model
we
to
need
make
to
this
find some
actually
rich guy.
function.
We need to find
Because
some rich guy
yeah,
that has money.
sorry,
We just need to find a sugar daddy.
Kevin, get on that. Find yourself a sugar daddy.
I need to find my sugar daddy. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
done. So
He's just
on that note, I think we're hitting about an hour 40 minutes now. Not that I'm looking to end this really incredible conversation. I do have one point of very important correction for myself. When I raised my arm earlier, I raised my right hand accidentally. But in the video, because my video is mirrored, it looks like I'm raising my left arm. I then said, "Oh no, wrong arm," and raised my left arm. Look at my wedding ring, which now looks like I'm raising my right arm, which is the wrong arm. So either way, I lose. But just so that we don't get any letters or comments or anything, this is my left arm. This is the
With your
correct arm to
volunteer
raise.
hand.
Yes, my volunteer hand. This is like John Stewart says. You can pat the dog, and you can you can put your arm up on this side, but from here to here is like no go with your right arm. So and secondly, I thought in terms of finishing, maybe we finish with some personality. And I thought maybe what would be cool or fun to do is for everyone to think of a fun question. Doesn't matter what it is. Just think of a fun, cool question, and everyone is going to go around the horn and answer that particular question for themselves.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay.
What's your story of the coolest bottle you ever bought?
The coolest bottle.
Your favorite bottle you've ever, there's always a story.
coolest or favorite? That's a big difference.
What's your favorite story behind buying a bottle?
That's a tough question. I
Yeah.
buy everything.
I was in Ireland last year.
Why don't you go first? Because you have this. You obviously have an answer for this.
Joel does. Joel has an answer.
You'll give us some time to think about it.
So I was in Ireland last year, and we got to tour the Killowen distillery.
Oh, that is cool.
And the Killowen distillery is, when I say a postage stamp, it's probably half the size of a postage stamp. It's tiny. And we have some friends who live somewhat in the area, so they're nice enough to pick us up from the train station, drive us around. And I'm looking at the map. I'm going, are you sure this is the way? Because we're in a residential sort of neighborhood going up this little tiny hill, super small road. There's a mail truck coming the other way. Two vehicles can't fit on the same road, so we're like hanging off the side of the edge of the cliff. Anyways, we get up there, and Brendan was just so nice. He made the time for us. He's like, we rarely get any visitors because, once again, we're such a small thing, but his whiskey checks all the boxes for every whiskey nerd because he's doing everything right, and he's happy to show you, happy to sample things out for you. Now, because of our circumstances, we were in Ireland like really, really whirlwind. We didn't have any check luggage, so
Oh,
I ended up buying a bottle for my friend who was the driver there.
aw,
And it was a special release whiskey a go girl.
cool.
That's another whiskey influencer, I guess. So he had bottled it for her, and my friend got to get the bottle. I asked him to save me a sample. He didn't. So, anyways, it was a fun day and a lot of memories included in that. So it was a good time.
That's an awesome story, Joel. That's my reason why I love whiskey. It brings people together.
Okay, so mine I'll do World 2. So I'd never been to Europe before, ever. And then I got a call saying I got like an all expense paid trip to Sweden. Um, and my wife was able to go. I just had to buy her plane ticket. So she got to come along with me, which is really cool. So we got to go to, and it was really cool too, because during the last eclipse, Joel and I like finalized doing a couple pics of a high coast, which is in Sweden. So we did, and actually got to use my friend's pictures. So we did
Awesome.
the dark side is the sherry cask, and then the light side is a peated bourbon ex bourbon cask. But we actually got to go there,
Wow.
which was really cool. So we flew into Stockholm. We spent the entire day in Stockholm, got to see all the cool buildings. We saw like the changing of the guard, which was like, and it happened to be like insanely hot that day. And like, I felt so bad for these people because they're like drumming, they're playing, they go. And then, so I got to go to the art bag.
Wow.
The
Art
place
balls.
there, yeah, and then we actually ended up staying the night in Stockholm, and then we took a small plane and went like a few hours north, even further into Sweden. We stayed at like this the ski resort where they actually do like the ski jumping, and it's like just all glass overlooking the entire like all of Sweden. It's just trees and water everywhere. That's all you see. You don't see like highways. There's no nothing. You don't even see any roads. It's just like
Incredible.
trees.
Wow.
All the floors are heated in these places. Every hotel room has like a sauna in it. It was like the coolest experience. But our driver and our host was like their blender guy who does like all their sales in like Europe and everything. And like he took us to his house. We had like
Wow.
so he lives like right across like the river, the main river where the high coast is. You could see high coast. We were having drinks at his yard. He took us home. We met his family. Like he spent the entire weekend with us. We were there for 5 days. We got to go to the festival. They have like campers show up where people from just and it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. These people are coming that live hours away. They're just camping out in their campers. There's tents, there's live bands, there's just like a boardwalk with like a tent. There's some local people. We got to go in there. We're the only ones out of I don't know how many people, thousands of people that were there wearing a VIP badge. Like everyone
Wow.
was so nice. It was like the coolest experience I've ever had. Like going there, we got to like I got to go into the thing. We actually got the bottle. We as a surprise, we went into the room and they had an empty cask. We got to fill the cask, sign our name on the barrel. So the
Oh,
next I don't know,
cool.
5 to 10 years, we'll get to see what comes out of it. We got like got to eat there, like the best food I've ever had in my life because it's fresh. It's like literally just picked, caught. They serve it to you. Like I got to try weird stuff. It's a sweet, like it's the coolest thing I've ever got to experience. And I got to experience with my wife, which is really cool. But it's fun because like we ended up doing 2 bottles with it. It was like it was a really cool experience when you get to go somewhere and experience the whiskey. You get to try
Totally.
it. Like it's super cool experience. So I mean, like High Coast has a special thing for me because I actually got to go to High Coast. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's a
Just
real
uh,
experience.
just can you hold the bottles up again? You've held the bottles up several times, and we need to just remember that we have listeners,
Yep.
not necessarily viewers. So Joel is holding up 2 bottles of High Coast that
Love it.
have custom labels for the solar eclipse. One where it's completely dark, that's where the sun is barely visible, and one where the sun is sort of visible on the one.
So it's cool because like one's almost 9 years and then the other one's actually almost 12 years old. So it's some of like their oldest whiskey that they had. So we these are custom 40-liter casks. So like there's only 43 bottles and 35 bottles made of them. So like very small amounts. So
I haven't opened my bottle yet.
yeah, they're very. I don't want to say they're very different, but they're very. I think for me, they're very distillate forward. So it's kind of like the Sleemans, where you get a lot of like their base spirit, and I think they have like a unique, um, like taste profile. I'll have to get you a couple samples. They're
One of the cleanest peated whiskeys out
Oh,
there.
really? Interesting.
it's when we tried them, we got like a bunch of samples, and like the first one was okay, the second one was okay. Both of us, when we took the sip of the sherry, we were like, "Yep," like it's a sherry bomb, or it just kind of hits you. And then there was like a Hungarian oak that was okay, but then when we got to the ex bourbon one, we're like, "Ooh, this is like really good." We're like, okay, maybe we can do both.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, and then we're like, well, how many? We didn't know like how big the cask was or anything, and we're like, I don't know, we didn't know anything. And the guy's like, yeah, sure, we'll do both because it's like it's not even 100 bottles for both. We're like, okay, sold, like no problem. Like it was easy. Like so, these were like both pre-sold before they even hit the country. Like it's just cool.
Wow.
Like even in the warehouse there is nuts because they have like half the warehouse is all 40-liter casks. So like they basically specialize in just doing like custom things for people. Like you could literally just walk in and like, hey, I want this, and they have like all these casks. And like the craziest part of it is they have like Old Fitzgerald. There's like Old Forester. They have like Old Forester birthday barrel barrels. They had like George T. Stay. Like I've never even seen these. I've not been to Kentucky ever. And I'm like, I've never seen these casks, and I got to take pictures of like, and they have every sherry cask, every wine cask, every bourbon cask you could possibly like. They just the quality, and then like the story. We got to go in, and the master blender came, and he's like, we poured out straight like their white dog, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's different, so and it was like 76%. We didn't quite know what we were drinking because he just pulled it out. And he just started drinking, and we're like, okay, like it can't be that strong. And he's drinking. He must have had like 3 or 4 ounces and didn't bat an eye. And we got to it. The first guy spit it out because he's like, what? And then you get to it, and you're like, you could smell it before it got to you, and you're like, okay, like I don't know if this is safe to drink. I drank it, and I'm like, I can feel it go down. I didn't spit it out, but it was 76%.
Wow.
Right, he like literally. I guess he just took it right out of the still just before we got there, and we're like, it was fantastic. Like I'm like, we just like I just want to take a bottle of that home. But it's just a very cool experience when you get to go somewhere, just like Joel, where you go,
Love it,
you get to see it, and they're like crazy passionate. Their guy is so nerdy. They do a bottle called 63, and everything is either $6.30 or at the 63 parallel. And like they even got like a point in the warehouse, and he's like a geocaching guy, and there's like geocaches on the site. It's like super, super, super cool.
Bobby has now given us a doctorate on High Coast.
I guess I did. It was such a cool experience. Like, and it was fun.
This is an emotional roller coaster. We started so angry.
Yeah.
Here we are.
You didn't like the question, but you really did in the end. You originally were hating on my question, sir.
I didn't say anything. I just thought your question was. I was thinking. I'm like,
I think we said personality like 10 minutes ago.
Just feeding off where Joel was going. Okay, Kevin, your turn. I mean, you would. I mean, when you visit somewhere, it's different.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
I
dude.
love the enthusiasm.
Love the passion. Yeah, awesome. So I've already told my story on the podcast, I think more than once. So I'm gonna move to my second story. And this is just a bottle of Dalwhinnie Distiller's Edition. When I got married, so my family, we separated. Like I have cousins and things, and they immigrated to Australia from South Africa. I'm originally from South Africa, and we immigrated to Canada. And so when I got married, my cousins obviously came to visit. And the Thursday before the wedding, we went to a bar, and we had some Dalwhinnie Distiller's Edition together.
Amazing.
And so now every year on my anniversary, this is the original bottle that I bought following the wedding. Every year on my anniversary, I have a single dram of Dalwhinnie Distiller's Edition.
How long have you been married?
How many ounces?
10 years.
That's way too long of an answer.
So it'll be 10 years, I think, in September.
That's more than 10 ounces. You and your wife were drinking shots?
Well, okay, maybe I don't have an ounce. I have a dram.
Okay.
That is awesome. I love that. Like, I actually have my favorite story is I love how I dragged my then boyfriend from London out to Inverness, and we spent a weekend in Inverness. And I'm like, we got to go to this distillery and this distillery and this distillery. We ended up at Dalwhinnie because that was his favorite place. Like he really wanted to go to Dalwhinnie. And so we ended up there and we had this amazing tour from this tour guide who had been there for decades. And he was there before it was bought out by corporate. And so we get to the end of the trail, the end of the tour, and he kind of goes, is anyone going to leave a trip advisor review or anything like that? And we're all like, no. And he's like, so you're telling me that nobody is gonna comment on this or anything? We're like, no. And he goes, so who wants to taste some barrels from the back of the cellar? And he takes us all to the back and starts like taking from the barrels. Like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yes, I'll leave you a review.
Yeah, exactly. He just
Probably
didn't
not
want
allowed to talk about.
My
Yeah.
kind of tour guide.
Sweet.
So funny.
So,
Okay.
so that was your story.
No, I think my story would be I'll do a little bit different. It was probably my first. I ended up buying a unicorn bottle by accident. I was taking WSET level 3 out of Brock University. And one of the ladies there, this is actually the first whiskey I ever bought. One of the ladies there was the product consultant at the local LCBO. And she's like, you got to come in. I got this really cool bottle that we only have so many across Ontario. But I have a few in store if you're interested. And I kind of was like, I'd never bought whiskey before, really. I didn't know anything about it. So I just kind of went in, and it was really expensive considering I was a student at the time. And I bought it, and it came in this box, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because came in a special box. And I was like, okay, sure. And I kind of put it away. And then afterwards, I didn't really think much of it. And I just knew I had left it at my parents' house. So I moved to the UK and I get into whiskey, and I always knew that I had this bottle somewhere. And I ended up at Glenfiddich on the same tour that I went to Inverness, and I see a picture of it on the wall. And I go to the lady, I go, oh, can you, just out of curiosity, like, can you buy that bottle here, and how much is it? And she goes, no, that's the Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
That was limited edition, and it sold out within, minutes. Like nobody could buy it. And I was like, no, I have a bottle of that at home. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, like I'm sure. Like I remember buying this bottle. And it was my very first bottle that I ever bought of whiskey.
That's wicked.
And then I called up my dad and I go, you got to check in the basement that I still have that there. And he goes, yeah, it's still there, but that's my bottle. I bought that bottle.
Uh-oh.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, but I drank it.
He might have. Like I was worried for a bit that he may have, but no,
You got to try that last year.
Have you ever tried it?
I haven't. It's still sealed. Now I'm like scared. It's turned into a unicorn bottle.
Yeah, you gotta find the right moment to open it.
I know.
Yeah, we got to try a Whiskey Wonderland 2 years ago.
And how was it? Tell me.
No comment.
You're
It's
killing
terrible.
me, Smalls.
So I mean, I'm sure whatever the retail price was, probably worth it. But what they're going for now, there's not a chance in hell.
I think I spent $80 as a student.
Wow, hey, you hit gold jackpot then.
Yeah.
I mean, so I it was cool because we did it was like Ardbeg 25, the Snow Phoenix. There was like a Canadian whiskey from like the 30s, which was actually really good. He had like a special edition like Highland Park 18. That was fantastic. That was probably the best one. And then I can't remember what the other bottle was. Something else.
So, anyways,
Whiskey Wonderland. That's on my to-do list.
Gotta go.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's
Next
my
person.
my non-whiskey question for you guys. Okay.
Ooh, non-whiskey.
What's the largest animal you've ever had an encounter with? Not in the zoo.
Moose.
Like just driving or what?
So I used to live 21 hours north of Toronto plus a time change. So I used to take so I'd have to get up early. I'd have to walk down, and this was when I was like 6, 7. Walk down to like this abandoned place where we get picked up for school, and it was like a 20-minute drive to go to school. We had to stop in the school bus, and like I don't know what you call a bunch of moose came out, and I remember
it's not me.
it came out and like was eye level with our seat in the bus, but it walked to the bus and kind of like stuck his head in the window, like where I was sitting, and then like just went back and like walked in. That's the biggest encounter I've had.
That's cool.
Good.
That's cool. Mine would probably be kayaking with orcas.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that was off in Telegraph Cove and off in BC. We did this kayaking tour and they're like, we never see orcas. We never see orcas. And then we're going there and they're like, there's orcas over there. There's orcas over there. Yeah, it was crazy. It was cool. And then I found out I was pregnant with my daughter that day. So that was even cooler.
Very special day.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Kevin?
So, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define encounter. I mean, coming from South Africa, you know, there's lots of like safari type stuff that I've been on and seen. Encounter, you know, there was an elk that we came across in Banff. We stayed far away from it though, so you know, maybe not that exciting. In Australia, I ended up swimming with a penguin.
Ooh,
A penguin just literally just came up and swam like within a meter from us.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like he literally just came up and said hi. I'm a penguin. Nice to meet you. And then I think the one that I remember the most was I went with my father to a game reserve, and we went out at night on with a game. Not walking, but in a game vehicle, and a pride of lion had basically hunted a zebra, and they were just mowing down, and we were like within meters from them, just like ripping and eating and blood everywhere. And you know, there's like a few vehicles there now, but they've got their lights on it, and you can see all the gory details.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Okay, Joel.
So going back 23 years, somewhere around there, me and some friends, we went to Whistler Village. And the one thing they tell you is if you ever see a bear, don't run. We had good time at a pub, and we're walking back, and we look behind us, and there's a very large dog. And as it got closer, it wasn't a dog.
Oh no.
And we all just took off. It was weird because we're in the middle of Whistler Village. There's activity everywhere. And all of a sudden it just went silent. And we were like the only 4 people on that one spot. And there was a bear right behind us.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm one of the
Grizzly?
No, it was probably just that
The black bear?
something like that. But I mean,
crazy.
yeah. But I'm one of the Canadians who can say I got chased by a bear. You know.
Nice.
I love that badge of honor. Like really, I love that.
Interesting.
So my question. Wait, we've done everyone, right?
No, I haven't got him.
You haven't got. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Unless-
I went.
unless you want to end.
But you did an animal one though, right?
No, that's Joel's.
But you still need to do an animal one.
Oh, I said moose.
Okay. So the question.
Yeah.
So my question is easy. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, Star Wars. No question.
I feel like this is difference between bourbon and scotch kind of thing. Like
Pepsi and Coke.
there's room for both.
Ooh.
No, it's Star Wars. Not even close.
I grew up on Star Trek, so I got to say that.
I mean, I grew up on both, but I think I got to go Star Trek as well.
Oh man.
They're currently filming Star Trek. What's it called now? Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
In the place called the Cotton Factory. It's across the street from where I work.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we've
Pictures
had.
or it didn't happen.
I can send you pictures, but I mean, there's nothing to see. Just a whole bunch of trucks, and you
Is Patrick Stewart there?
that I don't know.
Well, he wouldn't be in there because he's not in Strange New Worlds.
Oh, okay. I love Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
If you follow the Cotton Factory's Instagram, they had a video of a Klingon playing the piano yesterday.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, cool.
Better than the Borg playing piano.
All right, last one, Bobby.
I guess favorite not whiskey spirit. So you said gin, so you can't use gin.
I'm gonna say a good European schnapps.
Okay, that's
And the
interesting.
the reason why I'm saying that is for familial reasons. Like it at the end of our family dinner parties, like you just take a bottle out of the freezer and you pass it around.
Any particular country?
My mom was born and raised in Germany.
Okay.
So we just always the German or Austrian schnapps, like not sweet schnapps, like I'm talking like the dry 45%. Uh yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, that's
I
not what
think
I
they
was
had some plum something or the
Yeah.
other. Where is that?
interesting. Kevin?
I think Bobby's gonna be disappointed with my answer. But I think I'm gonna go with mezcal.
Nice. Okay. No wrong answer.
Well, no, there's no wrong answer, but I think you were, or at least I would have guessed that you would have hoped for rum.
Joel?
I am going to say, as of recent, I've become very fond of cognac.
Hmm.
Very fond. Uber Gold, Schliebel Premium Plus, Altes Flume.
Yeah. I've never tried that one, but that stuff it's good.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
my accountant, he did my taxes. He's like, "Hey, you got to try this."
Where,
He's
where can I get an accountant like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking shots with your accountant. You getting a big refund this year?
Love it.
Oh, I did, yeah. I always bring him a little something, and then my sister, whenever she's overseas, she'll bring him something as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's your favorite. So that's your non whiskey favorite spirit?
Oh no, this is just to go back to Andrea's
Yeah.
comment about the schnapps there. So,
Oh, okay.
but no, I've come to really appreciate cognac over the last little bit, and I mean, well, we have a cognac event coming up.
That's true.
It's it's got
It's
a
true.
pretty cool bottle in it.
I'm looking forward to that 1911.
Yep. It's,
Once again, it'll probably be the last time I get to try it.
Some very old stuff in there.
I think for me, I would actually give up all whiskey for rum. If I had to pick one spirit, it would be rum. Just because in my opinion, it's
I'm
the
just
most.
going to end the podcast right there.
In my
If I-
opinion, it's the most diverse spirit in the entire world, based on just one singular, um, like the base of what the ingredient is. Rum's my favorite, but I've gotten into tequila a lot lately, and really good tequila is really good, and it's way cheaper than whiskey and rum. So that's an extra bonus. But we've done a lot of tequila events lately, and it's actually pretty surprising when you get good stuff. It's pretty damn good. So, but I mean, rum, I would give up all spirit, all weather whiskey for rum.
Crazy.
When you have really good stuff, there's a reason, and it's cool in our group too. We've done rum, we've done scotch, we've done Swedish single malts. I'm working with a tequila brand now to bring the tequila to Canada. So it's fun, and then working with all the different like agents and stuff. I mean, we've done it with two Macaloni's casks landing sometime. They were shipped Thursday. I'm assuming they're going to come tomorrow, maybe. So I mean, we got Canadian in the books now. Would potentially be another Canadian whiskey. So this is basically a Vienna lager. What did I say? How did he describe it?
Hopped lager.
Yeah. What did he say? Where's
It's a hopped beer.
Yeah, he calls it on the barrel, it says Mad Quacker. So it's a single malt made of hopped amber beer, like a Vienna style lager, and it's been in a maple barrel since February.
You know what my Instagram name is for my cooking account?
I know, Mad Quacker.
Matt,
Matt Stacker.
I know.
That's a good name. That's a solid name.
So we could have a pretty fun label with this one.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
We'll just put you.
Another
And did you get the picture I sent everybody about the oats there? I sent it in the podcast chat, Andrea, just so I can get your reaction on camera when you see it.
I also love that Joel has a cooking account, by the way.
I have too many accounts.
Joel's the man.
See? Like that? Isn't that awesome? His face works perfect on that.
It does. Oh, Tim.
He was like, "Oh my goodness, that's so good." I'm like, "Well, I'm using it, so I don't care if you don't like it." But he liked it.
Tim's the best.
Yeah.
He's classic.
One other project that Bobby and I are working on, we actually have a Canadian whiskey tasting coming up.
Oh, cool.
It's in partnership with a museum in Dundas Historical Archives.
Cool.
So I do some work there for my real job, I guess you'd say. I do HVAC there.
Oh,
And we got chatting about whiskey and sort of the state of Canadian whiskey, and they wanted us to do a tasting event there. So on the docket, we have Bobby.
With the bottles?
No, you can say it.
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't even know. We're hosting a Canadian whiskey event. We're doing 6 bottles. So, but Oates
Sons
is
of Vancouver.
yeah,
Oates is in it.
2 brewers.
2 brewers, Grainhenge, Sleeman, Springmill, and
The Brulee one.
wow.
Oates.
one more.
Yeah, I always forget.
Oh, Lastra.
Yeah, Last Straw. The Scorn.
That's amazing. That's
We can have like a variety of different grains and then a variety of different price ranges. So it should be
Kevin has been kind enough to
donate some spoonies. We're gonna do a secret pour of Kevin's independent bottling, which is like
that's awesome.
which is like what 98% Macalones and 2% undisclosed rye.
2% Northwest Pure Rye.
Wow.
So should be a fun time.
So I think tickets are still available if you're interested.
Well, we
We'll
don't
have
want
to,
to come.
leave a link.
We're a bunch of people that don't know what we're doing. This will be our
But-
first.
No.
This will be our first time where it's us talking.
My hope is Andrea comes and then we'll just be like, hey, Andrea, here's the floor.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that happened because this happens to me all the time. They're like, "You are the professor. Go ahead."
We'll leave a link to
Should be
buy
fun.
tickets in the show notes if there are still tickets left.
Why don't you also add when it is? Because that would be
June
great.
6th in the evening,
The 6th, yeah.
What's the date?
Friday,
It's a Friday night. Yeah.
Which Friday?
June 6th.
Oh, June 6th. Okay, June 6th.
Yeah, in
It's
Dundas.
like pulling teeth with you guys.
I thought I said it.
I think we both said it at the same time. We
Ah,
can't see
that's
each other
okay.
out.
At least it
When
wasn't
is
just me
it?
who was
It's like-
wondering.
It's like, where is it? Planet Earth. Where on planet Earth?
I don't know if
On
Dundas.
land.
It's in Dundas.
Where on land? It's in North America. You just keep getting like.
So, I mean,
If you're asking the right questions, you'll eventually get the right answer.
I did get it. It was on a
You should
Friday.
have, like, Andrea, you should have said like, is it bigger than a bread box?
Yeah.
20 questions.
uh,
Anyways, on that note, thank you very much. Andrea, please let us know where we can find you. Can we follow you? Give us your handles and things for the viewers and listeners.
Yeah. I'm a Canadian whiskey prof, so CDN whiskey prof. That's my Insta. You can find me at Niagara College. If anyone out there is interested in getting an 8-month grad certificate in distilling, then we are your place for you. We cover everything from the physical side of distilling. We have an on-site distillery with our head distiller, Dave Dixon, who used to be the head distiller over at Dillon's. We cover things from quality control, quality spirits analysis, quantitative spirit analysis, legal and regulatory environment, how to get licenses, all these different kinds of things. So it's a very interesting program. Anyone can reach out to me there if they have any questions, and it'd be great to have some more people locally who are interested in it too, because I'd love to see more people into the industry and starting up new and exciting ventures within the distilling world. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And if you send me a link, I'll add a link to the show notes as well for the program or course.
Cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
Where you can listen to me go on even more rants about more things.
I love a good rant. One of my friends said this weekend that I get down off my high horse onto my soapbox.
I like it.
Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you
Lovely
for
to
having me.
chat with you guys. What a great one. We'll get this out as soon as possible. Though I'm still editing one from before, so it'll be good. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time, guys.
Thanks.